Hello, and we are live and super excited to have our next guest back with us on the forum. She is the former CEO for the Oakland Raiders and currently a sports analyst for CBS, and she is someone that we absolutely adore. We have Amy Trask back on the forum. Welcome, Amy. How are you?
I am well, and I am thrilled to be joining you both. I don't know why it looks like I'm sitting on a tilt. I really don't think I'm sitting on a tilt,
You're
but
not. No, it looks great. I
good.
love the room. In
You look
fact, I
wonderful.
love
I'm
the room.
thrilled to be joining you. The work you do, wow, it's just impressive in so many regards, as are you. But not only are you good at what you do, you're good people. Thank you for having me on.
Oh,
Oh,
we're very humbled. Like
thank
I
you.
said, we were on two other shows and they asked us about our accomplishments, and it was uncomfortable. We just named a couple things, and then we said the number one thing was the friendships that we've created with people that normally we wouldn't be able to meet, celebrities and athletes and stuff. And you were on top of the list. So
Well, you're very kind, but we are all just people.
that's
Period.
right.
End of story. All of us.
That's right. Now, the Super Bowl, what were your thoughts first about the game?
I loved the game. During all my years in the NFL, there was conversation about fans love offense, and certainly some people do love offense. They love scoring, they love high scoring games. I like defensive games. I thought, look, the Seahawks got to Drake May. They sacked him. They stopped the Patriots running game. They took the ball away 3 times. They played tremendously on defense. I love a defensive struggle. And frankly, if the game had just ended with field goals and it had been a 9-0 game or a 12-0 game or a 15-0 game, I would have been happy. And it wasn't that I had a particular wish for either team. I just love a defensive struggle.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm the old school. I love the hard hitting and the great defenses. I thought it was interesting. I watched the game and highlights 3 times. And in the first half, Seattle really blitzed a lot. And then in the second half, Patriots kept in a running back to combat that. Then they stopped blitzing. So it was just like a chess match going on with the defenses.
I love that you referenced a chess match because when I fell in love with the game of football, which was when I was in junior high, that's what I considered the game to be, a chess match with very fast, very strong, very powerful chess pieces. So, it's a game of matchups. How does your pass protection match up against my pass rush? How do your receivers match up against my defensive backs? How do my defensive backs match up with your receivers? It's a game of chess, again, with fast, strong, powerful chess pieces. But there's a very, very significant intellectual component to the game that I love. And one other thing I should mention about the Seahawks is their special teams and the contribution that made. Field goal after field goal after field goal, and the kicker set a record in that regard, but also the punts. Those punts that were put down
Beautiful.
so precisely and so perfectly right near the end zone, that was a huge part of the game. So, as I often say, the game has 3 components: offense, defense, and special teams, and not enough teams concentrate on special teams. The Seahawks did a magnificent job.
Yeah, I love the reference of the coffin corner with Ray Guy later in the game on the radio side. I made me proud because that was Ray Guy was the king of that. It was amazing, and you could control a game that way if you have such a good punter, and that's what Seattle did.
And if I may add one other thing about the game, and this is an off field point rather than an on field point, although arguably it's both. To any kids that are watching this or listening to this, if you are ever told that you're not good enough, if you are ever told that you can't accomplish something, and I was told those things when I was a kid. I was told I would never accomplish certain things when I was a kid. Boy, I remember my 6th grade teacher telling my mother she'll never get into college. Well,
Mm.
if you're ever told you can't accomplish something, you can't do something, look at Sam Darnold. This
Yep.
is Sam Darnold's 5th team, and he just won the Super Bowl. So if someone tells you you can't, just go show them you can.
Yeah. Now, Amy, let's.
Absolutely.
I don't hear a lot of talk about how you grew up. You're a California girl, and shout out to Cali, all our people. And I want to shout. I would be remiss. We are lifelong. My father went to the first games in the '60s when he was a kid, and they were giving away tickets. And I would be amiss if I didn't give. They wanted to make sure that they thanked you and they said good to you. My sister Janine, my brother Rich, and my nephew Anthony, and my niece Julia, and my brother-in-law Vincent. They adore you and love you, and they wanted to make sure that I give you a huge shout out and a hi.
Well, please tell them all that I say hi.
I will. You grew up, and I know that you did go through a lot of obstacles, more emotional than physical, really. And tell us about you growing up. Give us a quick version of you growing up. You went to Cal Berkeley, became a lawyer, and then obviously the amazing hiring with you with the Raiders.
Well, I did grow up in Southern California, in Los Angeles, as you mentioned. I'm a California girl. And I was never, ever, ever a good student. As I told you, my sixth grade teacher, I'll remember to this day hearing him because he sent me in the hallway, but those windows at the very top, the thing they call transom windows, were open. And I was in the hallway and I heard him say to my mom, I understand your two older children are very, very smart. This one's not. And she won't get into college, so you better start thinking of other plans for her. And I will forever remember my mother saying to him, how dare
Ugh.
you label a child and tell a sixth grade child what he or she may or not be able to accomplish. And I just thought, wow, my mom had my back.
Yeah.
Well, I'll flash forward because, as is said, a teacher can change a life. And a teacher changed the trajectory of my life. My 10th grade English teacher, Mrs. Hernandez, week one of school, called me out of the room, beckoned me with her finger. It looked like a looked like a talon, beckoned me into the outside hallway and said, I've heard about you, and I'm telling you right now. And she went on to explain to me she was going to hold me to a higher standard than that to which I've ever been held by another teacher. And I thought, wow, she really believes I can do this.
Yeah.
And she changed the trajectory of my life. So flashing forward, as I started moving on and moving in, evolving within the Raider organization, I sent her a thank you note. And I said, you changed my life. Oh, there you are. I thought maybe I talked too much, so you hung up on me.
No way. We could
hang up
listen to
on
you for
you.
I
hours.
can't hear you any longer. You're muted.
Let's see.
Now you're frozen.
Oh, now I'm frozen?
Oh my goodness.
Huh, on our side,
Hello?
it could.
Hello?
Let's see.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, we could
can
hear you perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
I can't hear you.
Oh my God. Amy, let's see. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Log out, Amy. Log out and log back in if you can hear me. Oh, JL says they could hear us both.
Our friend Jen said that they can hear both of us.
That's weird.
I see you. I can't hear you.
Yeah,
Jill, can you let them know I can't hear them?
Jen says this is weird. We could hear you both, and we don't know what happened.
Oh, tech issues.
Ay, ay, ay.
Oh my goodness.
Well, anyway, with as many of you know Amy's story,
Yes.
and we got her
I
back
can
on
hear you
here.
again.
Yay.
Aye, great. Okay, Amy,
we
you were
are
talking
technologically challenged today. And you know what? I did the old-fashioned thing. When I couldn't hear you, I just got out and got back in.
Yeah, it's like I said, we've had a love-hate relationship with a couple of these companies, and they have I'm kind of I like to give people a lot of chances, but I'm losing my patience a little bit. So
the company has just been
yeah.
so
Yeah. But that's another story. But go on with your story. You had your teacher. She inspired you, and you gave her a thank you note.
Okay, and then I went to college. And the year I graduated Berkeley and moved back home to Los Angeles happened to be the same year the Raiders moved to Los Angeles. They had tried to move a couple years earlier, but been ordered back by the court after the league had sued the Raiders over the move. So then the year I moved down from college, the Raiders came down, and I had fallen in love with the Raiders when I was at Berkeley. The Raiders were down the road in Oakland, and I loved everything about the team. This is a team owned by a man, Al Davis, who didn't mind if someone was labeled a behavior problem, which I was in kindergarten. And he didn't mind if someone was considered trouble, which I was considered from kindergarten on. He wanted you to perform. He wanted you to do your job. Other teams could label players behavior problems or trouble and not want to work with them. That didn't matter to Al. I remember watching games on television, and the road team would pull up to the stadium, and players would get off the bus in sports coats, carrying briefcases, and then you'd see the Raiders, and their
Yeah.
bus would pull up to the stadium, and they would just tumble out wearing whatever they were wearing the night before. And I just fell in love with everything about the team. So when I began graduate school down here in Los Angeles, I heard some people talking about internships and externships. So I didn't even know what an externship was. I'd never even heard that. So I picked up the phone and I called the Raiders, and I said to the receptionist, because back in the day there were receptionists and landlines. I said, hi, I'd like to do an internship. And she patched me through to someone, and he said, what's an intern? And I said, well, I'll work for you and you won't pay me. Because back in that day and age, interns were not paid.
Yeah.
He said, come on down. And I started my internship, and that began my career.
Wow.
And what a career it's been.
When was the first time that Al Davis approached you to hire you?
Well, I was brought in by someone else, and I was working for the lawyer at the time, the in-house lawyer, Jeff Beeran. And my first interaction with Al was very, very shortly after I started. And the biggest misconception about him is that you can't disagree with him, that he wouldn't tolerate disagreement, or he wouldn't tolerate those who disagreed with him, because if that were the case, I'd have been fired 2.5 weeks into my job when I disagreed with him. He walked into a room where I was sitting with someone, and he was talking, and all of a sudden I said, excuse me, you're wrong, because I realized he was wrong. And I'll make a long story short and let you know that we had a back and forth, very loud, simply because we were both speaking passionately, yelling or shouting, I don't know what the word is, but not at each other, just as to the topic. And after quite a while, he said, oh, okay, I gotcha, I got it. And we went on to have a great conversation. And I would say over the next almost 30 years that I was with the team, we disagreed more often than we agreed. But what I learned in that first moment is, if you're going to disagree, bring your evidence.
Yeah.
Don't just disagree to be disagreeable. Make your case. And he was fine with that.
Yeah, see, I'm the same way. I always tell people, when I had a business, I would tell people, if you disagree, come with receipts. If you disagree just because it's your opinion, then I don't care. You have to have facts backing what you're saying, and if it's right, I'll do it. And that's my thing about it.
Well, that's great, because disagreement can be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Disagreement can be productive. Disagreement can make things better. But we as a world, as a society, this country and beyond, have to embrace the concept of disagreeing agreeably. You and I can right now, Florence and I right now, we can have a healthy, productive, passionate disagreement. But we don't have to be nasty. We don't have to be mean. We can exchange our thoughts passionately, but in a reasoned and reasonable manner. And we got to figure out as a world how to do that.
Yeah, compromise too. As a lawyer, the thing you need is an openness to say you're wrong, openness to listen, and an openness to agree to disagree. And that's what I think is important.
I wish I could jump through this screen and give you a hug. I agree. Number one, it's absolutely okay to make a mistake. I told staff that all the time. I still tell those with whom I work, if you make a mistake, just raise your hand, say I made a mistake. Look, if you're a fighter pilot going 500 miles an hour upside down, okay, maybe a mistake could be a big problem. Or,
Yeah.
you're an open heart surgeon and you're in the middle of surgery and you scream, oh no, I screwed up. That could be a problem.
Yep.
But as a general rule in business, it's okay to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Tell your colleagues, I made a mistake. Ask them to help you fix it. And then when they make a mistake, help them fix theirs.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. Now, yesterday, I wanted to tell you during the Super Bowl, I, of course, was retweeting you on our X accounts because I just love your X account. I love your tweets. And I noticed during the Super Bowl, you were talking about a couple of commercials that made you sob.
Sob.
A couple of commercials that made you very emotional. Can you please tell us which were your favorites and which were the two that made you sob and why?
Well, the Rocket Mortgage Redfin
Yes.
commercial, where we see these kids sort of navigating what I'll just refer to as the difficulty of being kids and being the kid who's not accepted and all of the things we all went through as kids. And I'm going to start crying again. And then the little girl who's ostracized and doesn't feel included or who isn't included shows up. I'm going to sit here and I am going to cry again. She shows up at the door of a little girl who lost her dog and hands her the dog, and the two of them embrace. And I just started bawling. And right now I'm about to sob again, so I will move on to the other commercial I loved, which was the Dove commercial about with all those young women just showing themselves for who they are and different body types and different everything, and yet it was a powerful commercial. And look, I grew up never the pretty girl in the room, always well aware I wasn't the pretty girl in the room. I wasn't the popular girl in the room. And that commercial resonated with me. And I wish that I had understood those things when I was a preteen and a tween. I still wear a baseball cap when I'm on camera, and I'm allowed to, because you can't always do it, just because of a lack of self-confidence in my appearance. So to see that commercial with all those young women doing what they were doing was just tremendous. And I think that's an important message to get out. So there I am watching the Super Bowl, the Princess of Darkness, sobbing, just sloppy sobbing.
That was a great commercial. And
was.
I was going, why is Amy, I'm going to watch these commercials
Yeah, why is
because
Amy
why is
crying?
Amy crying? And then about 2/3 in, I'm going, that stupid Amy. And I'm crying. I'm like, oh my
He's
God.
like, oh my God, she was right.
Oh my God.
Because I was telling him about the Dunkin' Donuts commercial, the one they called Goodwill Dunkin', and they used like the Friends characters and people from the show. And I was telling him how funny it was, and they had Ted Danson from Cheers and all this. But then he's like, but what about the ones Amy was talking about? Oh my
rocket
God.
one.
And
My
I'm like,
favorite one. That made me, I have to be honest with you, it made me cry.
They were so emotional.
I was mad at you for a couple minutes. I'm like, quit that, Amy. Why did you say
I love that. I love that.
But let's go back before we got it. These are some history I went and did. Colette and Colette's going to come on a little while. And J.L. Rothstein, author, who is our friend, big shout out to you. We love you. And
yeah, she's with us in the comments section.
Oh, she's amazing. But,
she's the one who let me know that she could hear us both. It was her comment that I loved it. Thank you.
She always has our back.
She's wonderful. She's such a good friend.
Now here's the top ones that have on a list that I believe. The Mean Joe Green with the Coke where he throws the jersey.
Yes.
And the kid walks away thinking Mean Joe doesn't care about him, and then he goes, "Hey kid," and he throws the jersey.
Love that.
Oh, that one makes me cry every time.
One of the all-time best.
Have a Coke and a smile. Where's the beef? Yeah. That's where this started with the Super Bowl. The Betty White Snickers commercial is the funniest commercial for me. Oh my gosh.
It was a good one.
Monster.com did some really good ones. The 1984 Apple Macintosh was life-changing. That was amazing when they first brought out the Macintosh. And I'm not an Apple guy, but man, that was incredible. Michael Jordan, Bugs Bunny, Xerox with the Monks. That was a very popular one. Miller High Life did a couple good commercials, but the number one, the Michael Jordan of commercials for Super Bowl's got to be Budweiser with the Clydesdales. On 9/11, they only showed this one time, and it was the Clydesdales walking up to New York and then bowing.
I remember
That,
that. I remember
oh
that.
my God, that's just a
That was a
tearjerker.
moment. Yeah.
Very tearjerker.
Yeah.
Now, going to this year, social media blasted the commercials. They said it was bad. I don't know, it was the negativity because they wanted more uh stuff for the game. What were some other commercials that you thought were good or bad?
You know what? I will say I'm not one who watches a lot of the commercials because generally during the commercials, I'm
I
eating.
know.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
walking back and forth
exactly.
to the ice cream freezer because yes, we have one freezer that's just for ice cream. But the
I
the
love
only
that.
two that really resonated with me are the two that made me sob.
Yes.
There were some other good ones as well. The only two that really stuck with me were that Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Mortgage and Dove commercials.
Yeah, when I saw your tweet, I said to James, I said we have to make sure we see these
Yeah,
because
I'm
they
like,
made Amy cry.
what is she talking about?
Because
Come
like
But
you
on,
said
Amy.
during the
You're
commercials,
the
people
princess
are
of darkness. There's
I
no
know,
crying in
be
darkness.
scared.
eating, going
By the
to the
way,
bathroom.
I think I ate 6 pints of Grater's ice cream all by myself.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
And
Oh
everybody
my
always
goodness.
asks me, well, what's your favorite Grater's flavor? And the answer is, I don't have a favorite. I like them
Yeah.
all. Oh, but
Yep.
I do like my ice cream to have things in it:
Yep.
chips, bits, pieces,
Me
parts. I
too.
don't like
Me
it just
too.
smooth.
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
I love ice cream.
Me too.
My favorite,
I,
ice cream and pie.
I told
Uh,
Amy, I said we love ice cream too.
uh, the one that I liked was the William Shatner did a good one that I thought was really funny. He's self-deprecating and funny, and I thought he was pretty cool. That was a good one. The other ones were mostly celebrities and AI, and I thought there were such little, imagination in the commercials. It was just, let's throw some celebrities on there and go to AI, do a thing and make them look funny. And I just thought they hit 24 commercials with celebrities in it this year, record.
Wow.
So also the earliest, going on your thoughts, the earliest Nielsen ratings has this 135 million views. People watch the Super Bowl tentatively. They haven't come out with the
Yeah, I
final
don't think they
number.
come out till tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But last year was a record at 127. So boy, the Super Bowl's going strong as ever.
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely. I think that it'll always be one of the most viewed shows of the year.
Now, what did you think about the halftime show? Are you into it? Did you watch it? What was your thoughts?
I loved it. Um, Again, we have got to figure out a way that people don't have to be so angry and nasty in sharing thoughts. It was a halftime show. If someone didn't enjoy it, they could get up and go in the kitchen and get their
Yeah.
ice cream or
Make a
whatever they want
snack.
to eat. I loved it. It was really fun looking and saying, wait, 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 is that Lady Gaga? And wait, wait, wait,
Yeah.
and spotting the other celebrities. I love the music. But what I love the most, and this is such an important message, is the message. And I won't state it perfectly, but the only thing more powerful than hate is love. Or maybe I got
Yeah.
it
Yes.
backwards, and love is more powerful than hate. But both of those things, whether we say it the right way or the wrong way, what is more powerful than hate is love. And I think that's a tremendous message.
No,
Yeah,
I
people
totally
people
agree.
always ask me, why do you have right wing and left wing and black and white and gay and trans, and why are all these
Who
people
cares?
following you? I
Yeah.
said, because I
Yes.
don't care about
Yeah.
they could live however they want. As long as they're good people, I will befriend them. And that's all I care about. I could care less about their lifestyle. As long as they're good people and they're doing good things, it's all good to
Yeah.
me.
And I loved that like Ricky Martin was a part of it. I haven't seen Ricky Martin in years. And of course Lady Gaga is so
Talent,
talented.
yeah.
So I mean
And,
again, I don't really know why people hated on it so much. Obviously he's talented. And again, like you said, if it's not your cup of tea, go into the kitchen, make a snack, grab some ice cream, make a sandwich. I was filling up on cheese and crackers and dips and having a great old time.
I think I think also with a lot of this stuff, I think people get way too carried away, like you said, with the anger and judging. When I grew up, that's why I liked growing up in the 80s and stuff, where you didn't really care about anyone else, what they did. You just kind of accepted them. If they're different and weird, whatever, it doesn't matter. Where today it seems like everybody live like me. I live the right way, live like me. And I don't belong. I don't get
well,
it.
And a story that I often, it's not a story, it's a fact that I often share with people is when Ronald Reagan was the president, his politics were over here, and the Speaker of the House, Tip O'Neill, his politics were over here.
Yep.
And I'm using the word politics, but maybe I should say their views, their beliefs, their goals, their desires, their politics, whatever way you want to use. They disagreed on almost everything substantively. And you know what they did? Every single week, they went out and they had a drink and they had a conversation and they talked things through and they found ways to meet in the middle. They found ways to compromise. We've got to get back to that. We don't all have to agree on everything, but there is absolutely no reason people should, nor should they, be so angry and so divisive when sharing their views.
Did you ever get to get to know Ron Wolf?
Early in my career, Ron and I were with the team at the same time. So I can't say that I got to know him well because I was brand new and junior, but we were both with the team. We overlapped for a bit.
God, what a genius! I'm so glad he got in the Hall of Fame because he is just amazing judge of talent. I loved him, and he's still alive, but he's Hall of Famer. But wow, I'm a huge fan of his as well. So the Raiders there's so many people to be a fan of. Now you were close. Did you get really close to some of the older players like Jim Otto and some of the other ones, or was it mainly, Charles Woodson and some of the newer ones?
They look, one of the things that Al did magnificently, that the Raiders did magnificently, was continue to include and incorporate players who were no longer playing so that they were welcome at every game, at every road trip, at every event, to come even if there wasn't a game or an event. So Jim Otto worked for the team during my years there. We added Jim on the staff. Prior to passing away, Gene Upshaw, who had a tremendous impact on my career, on my life. Willie Brown ultimately began working for the team. Fred Bolitnikoff worked for the team. But it wasn't just the men who worked who played that worked for the team. Former players were at all our games, and they were always welcomed in the office. And that's one of the things that makes the Raiders so very special.
This is a legal question, and you may not be able to answer it, but I have asked it. I'm not trying to be morbid, but let's say, God forbid, something happens to Mark Davis down the road.
I'm going to stop you right now and tell you I won't answer this because
okay.
I think it could be violative of an attorney-client privilege that I had while I worked for the team. So I think I'll take a pass on this one.
Okay, no problem. What was I going to say? Who are players? When you grew up, were you a Rams fan? You said you fell in love with the Raiders. Were you just always a Raiders fan?
Well, I fell in love with the game of football in junior high. As you just correctly noted, the Rams were in town. So I grew up in a family of people who like to be outdoors and doing things. So my family certainly watched. My parents either hosted or went to a Super Bowl party every year. But other than that, they weren't staying home and watching football every Sunday, every weekend, because they were out and about doing things. They'd go out and do things, and a lot of times I'd be the one staying home and watching football. But I didn't have a favorite team. Once I fell in love with the game, for various holidays and occasions, I would buy 2 tickets to the Rams game, and I would say to my dad, "Here's your present, and we're going together." And we would go together to Rams games. But then I fell in love with the Raiders when I was in college. And look, I owe my career to the fact that Al Davis, decades before this was a topic of discussion, hired without regard to race or gender or any other individuality, which has no bearing whatsoever on whether one can do a job. So that's why I have the career I do. And I fell in love with the team when I was at Berkeley. Once I joined the team, my mom and dad bought season tickets and never, ever missed a home game. Even when the team moved back to Oakland, they flew up for every game.
And people forget that there was a very good connection with Cal Berkeley and the Raiders, because the Raiders played mainly at Candlestick, but they did play some key games at Cal Berkeley.
That was well before me.
Yeah,
But
in the
yes, you are
70s.
absolutely right.
Yeah, in the 70s, some of the key games that I believe they stopped Miami's long winning streak in Cal Berkeley, I think. But they played there, and there was always a kind of a love. And what's interesting is Cal Berkeley, out of an honor to that, they actually have a section for the Raiders. I believe it's something the Black Hole, and it's in honor of that kind of past for that. Cal Berkeley's a great school. I went there
Well,
for a
and this year,
semester.
when the Raiders moved to Las Vegas, and I said at the time, I'll say again, to the Raider fans who love the move and are traveling to Las Vegas and are thrilled with the move, I'm thrilled for them. To the fans in the East Bay and in areas of California that are heartbroken, for them, I'm heartbroken. And what the segue here is what the Cal Bears have done, and they did that. They just did this when Ron Rivera came back to Cal. They created a section for the Black Hole fans who had sat in the Black Hole at the Oakland Coliseum. And because it was Cal Bears embracing the Black Hole, they named it the Black Bear section.
Yeah. It's a great, and I've talked to a couple people. They follow me on Facebook, and it's a great thing. Cal's got some very loyal people. I went there a semester. I loved it. I didn't have the money to go there for a long time, so I went there a semester. But I love the vibe there. It's just a beautiful school, amazing school. But yeah, their tradition with the Raiders is very, very deep, and I'm so glad that. I was a huge Joe Roth fan in the 80s when he was in the 70s, but just I have a real deep affection and devotion to Cal. So go Bears all the time.
Go Bears.
But go Bears all the time. What is something that you are the most proud of when it comes to the NFL?
Oh, wow. I don't have an answer to that. I need to think about that. Here's how my brain works. I'll let it percolate for a little bit, and then I'll think of something.
I'm sure there's more than
That's
one.
the same with, I think you go, we know we're friends with, not that we're anybody, but we're friends with a couple of the people on that work in the upper management in the Hall of Fame. And we have beaten their brow a little bit on you. I think you're eventually going to get into the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
What do you, it must just be an amazing honor to even think of that.
There are Raider fans with whom I am connected on X who melt my heart every single week when they share their thoughts on that. And I will forever, forever love and wish and hope the best for the Raider fans. They embraced me when I joined the team. I embraced them. Fans should be cherished. There is no league as we know it without fans.
Yeah.
So the fact that the fans have my back, and I will always and forever have their backs, the fact that they have my back, that means the world.
I was a part of the group that worked with Ken Stabler's daughter and some people that kind of did the push to get him in the Hall of Fame, and we're grumbling about doing it for you. So,
thank you.
If we do, I'll let you know, because, like I said, I think that if anyone deserves to be in it, the great Al Davis doesn't get enough accolades for all the people he helped in the NFL that weren't Raiders, that were. And I just think he's just such an icon, and maybe the most important person, one of the most important person in the history of the game. So
I agree with you.
So I love him. We have Khaled on right now, and Khaled is one of our podcasters. Me and Khaled, he's a huge Raider fan, and I'm going to bring him on.
Hi.
Khaled, you're with the great Amy Trask, the beautiful, the smart, the talented. Hi. She's everything.
So, oh, man. What an honor. Thank you so much, James, for having me on. Thanks, Amy, for allowing me to come on. See, I've got my Raiders hat on. I've been a Raider fan for, almost 30 years now. I think we've interacted a couple times on Twitter, X, and it's an honor to meet you.
Well, it's nice to meet you as well.
Do you have any questions for Amy? And keep them lighter. I put her on the hot spot a couple of times.
I know you have a very busy schedule. I know you got a flight to catch. So just one question for me. I know you spent a ton of time with Al Davis. I'm sure you have a million stories. But if there's one that could kind of capture, I know this is a tough question, to capture like the essence of who he was not just as a football guy, but as a person. Could you share a personal anecdote from your?
Sure. I spoke earlier. I don't know if you heard it. I spoke earlier about the fact that this is someone who hired without regard to race or gender or any other individuality, which has no bearing whatsoever on whether one can do a job. And he did this decades and decades and decades before it was even a topic of discussion. So, although I have many, many, many stories of the nature you suggested, I will share one that relates to that. There was a business that we targeted. This was a business with which we wanted to do business. So we had a meeting scheduled for our facility in Alameda, and this business was coming in, and we're going to try to figure out how we can connect with them and can we get them to do business with us. So I asked Al if he would come to the meeting, and he very graciously said yes. So we're in what we call the big conference room, and there's a few representatives from this business there, and there's a few of us there that are with the Raiders, and Al walks in, and he starts moving around the room and shaking hands and introducing himself, and one of the representatives of the business that was visiting us was a woman. And he says to her, it's nice to meet you, et cetera, et cetera. And then he says, I try very hard not to swear in front of women. Well, I start looking at my coworkers like, did he just say what I think he just said? So then he goes on and he says, and if I do swear, I apologize, but I will never, ever swear at a woman. Well, now I'm just stunned. I am speechless. I'm holding a pen. It flies out of my hand. It lands on the table with a thump. And he turns and looks at me and sees the look of incredulity on my face. And his exact quote was, "Oh, Amy, I don't think of Amy, or I don't think of Amy as a woman."
Oh.
He could not have paid me a greater compliment. Because while some people reacted by saying, "Ooh, that's not very nice," no, it is the biggest compliment he could have paid to me. Not only was it nice, it was magnificent. It was a wonderful moment, because what he said is, "Oh, Amy, I don't think of Amy as a woman," which meant he just wanted to know that I was doing my job.
Yeah.
Gender didn't matter. It wasn't something he considered. He didn't hire me because I was a woman. He didn't think of me as a woman. That was a very, very meaningful moment.
Yeah, I think the only color of
the and we're gonna let you go. We know we are so blessed to have you on. You are a shining light in the NFL and in our lives, and we're so happy.
Yeah, you are so kind to be letting me go when I need to run out the door, but I do want to share with Florence before I go, because she and I corresponded about this on social media. Bart Scott.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
As I told you, my greatest insecurity in my life has always been my physical appearance. So when I first joined CBS Sports, and there's a whole story about how terrified I was, and I won't bore you with all the details, I said to the producer that the moment we were first going to go live, "I'm so scared when we go live, I think I'm going to throw up all over myself." To which the producer responded, "That'd be so great. We'd get so many YouTube views for that." But I was so scared about being on camera. Being on camera is the scariest thing I've ever done. And there's two messages in that. I realize that speaks to the good fortune I've had in my life, that this is the scariest thing I've ever done. But the message for kids that I would share is sometimes doing scary things can be very, very rewarding. Well, I was so terrified when I joined CBS Sports, and Bart Scott sat next to me. He was one of my teammates. We sat next to one another on air, and he held my hand. Literally, under the table, Bart held my hand. And every time we were coming out of commercial break, he would take my hand, peel it off of his hand where I was smushing it with my fingers, and he'd put it back on the table. And then when we went to commercial, he'd let me hold his hand again. That, my friends, is a teammate. And I will always and forever appreciate and love Bart for being that teammate.
Well, thank you, Bart. We listen to his show all the time. We love his personality. So he's a great guy, Bart and Carlin. Just a great show. But Amy, I'm telling you, you're an amazing person. From the very first time we've ever interacted, we were humbled that we could talk to someone like you, because you're just such a blessing to us. And we are friends for life, and we're ride or die with you. No one will ever question our loyalty to you, because like I said, you're the most special person we've ever met
Wow.
online.
Well, I just want you to know it is a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous honor and privilege for me to join you. I think the world of what you do and the messages you share. And I'm delighted to join you. As I said, an honor and a privilege. And also, you ain't ever getting rid of me. I'm coming back.
Well,
Thank
you have a
you.
carte blanche. You could come on
Oh,
anytime,
yes.
and whatever you feel or say, you are beautiful inside and out.
Oh,
And we would
absolutely.
never change a thing on you. You stay who you are. We love it. So you
Thank
have a
you.
great trip.
Yes,
Have a
safe
safe trip,
travels.
safe travels, and you take
Thank
care.
you.
All right. Bye bye,
Thanks, Amy.
Amy.
Bye,
Great to meet you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Wow.
Khaled, that was pretty cool, huh?
Amy
Oh, that
Trask.
was awesome.
All
I've
right.
she's a hero of
Amy
mine,
is
so thank you for that honor. I
Oh,
appreciate that very much.
absolutely. We know you got to get back to work, but like I said, if you could, we really wanted you to come on, and we talked to
Thank
Amy
you.
about you. We said some things about you, so she's very excited to get more involved. And like I said, Khaled, you're on the rise. Things are happening. We just have to be, I want everything done yesterday, and I'm not a patient person, so I just got to chill out sometimes when things don't, things break through or something, but it's happening for you, and I'm really excited about your
Yes.
future.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm
All right,
looking
you
forward
have
to
a
catching
great
up in a
day
couple
at
days.
work.
All
All
right,
right,
take
man. You
care.
have a great day at work. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye, Khaled. Bye.
Okay, guys, we, like I said, Amy is the salt
Oh,
of the earth, and
adore
she
her.
is. There's people like Mike Detillier, Amy, James Allen from the NFL Hall of Fame has been
Yes.
so nice to us. There's been so many people that have been so kind to us, that are celebrities that we don't want to name drop, but it's humbling because we're just regular church mice. We're old. What do they call them? Country lawyers. We're
Yes.
just a country lawyer, and we don't. Like I said, we don't take ourselves too seriously. We're just regular people trying to do things that we love to do,
We're just
and we
working
love to
hard
talk
like
to you.
everybody else.
Yeah, and we love when you succeed. Some of you gave me some great updates this last couple days, and we're giving you some advice and stuff like that. And please follow us. And if you're an author or a podcaster,
Yes.
follow Jen, JL Rothstein 1 on Twitter, because I'm telling you, there's big things happening, and we're so excited. And
Tomorrow.
yeah, we have a what we're gonna do is Jen and I are going to interview Nicole Brown Simpson's, one of her exes that went through so much with O.J. Simpson, and he wrote a book about it. It just came out, and he's going to be talking about it, and we're going to interview him. We're one of the first interviews
Yes.
for him.
We're super excited.
Oh my gosh. So we're going to release that Thursday. And so we're going to tape it tomorrow. Jen, Florence, and I are going to tape it tomorrow, and then we're going to release it Thursday. And then we're going to be coming back live on a regular schedule next week. But if there's something that also happens with the Guthrie situation,
Yes.
we will try to do a live, and we'll try to keep you updated. That situation's getting crazy.
It's so sad. Savannah Guthrie's mother, I know most everybody knows at this point, 84 years old. She was kidnapped from her home in the middle of the night. And James and I have been covering it, and we've been going live with updates, and we will continue to do that until there's a resolution one way or another.
Yeah, and again, please follow JL. You could also go to www.jlrothstein.com. She's an amazing author. We have a lot of things going on. We answer a lot of questions on marketing when we do the show. And again, we're not going to be here. We're going to release that Thursday, but we'll be back next Thursday.
Yes.
And we have a lot of fun. We talk pop culture. We talk about true crime, and we talk about how to market ourselves online. And this is for beginners to moderate. There's a lot of people. I just went online in one of the groups that I'm in. It's like 125,000 podcasters. And the guy's saying, man, I've been doing this 3 years. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars, and I've got 1,000 followers on Twitter. 500, he's barely got a following. He's barely getting views. And I told him, come to our group. Come to every Thursday night. He did it, and now he said my numbers have tripled. So not that we're geniuses, but we kind of give you the that we try to keep up with all the trends and what's hot.
Tools.
Yeah, and we give you the tools and give you the things that we do. But again, please follow us. We're here to help you. We're not asking you for a buck. We're not saying you owe us $6 a show or what. I mean, we're not doing all that. Some of you have gotten on us, and we may do that for Patreon or something. Buy us a cup of coffee or something like that. I think we will do that because some of you have said you guys are being too giving. And like I said, it does take a lot of work. So we might do that a little bit for some of you that are doing a little bit pretty good, that maybe you could hook us up a little bit.
Is a thing that a lot of podcasters.
So we'll figure it out. But like I said, we're really excited about Jen. We know she's gonna. I every day I think about her every day because I want her.
We talk about her all the time.
Oh my God! I just
she's got an amazing amazing trilogy. She's working on a new book. And there's just so much coming.
The Heaven Sent series, at Amazon or wherever books are sold. But go to her website, get on her mailing list. She has a lot of good things. A lot of good tidbits. But like I said, we're here for the long run. We had some situations happen. We couldn't do it, but now we are. So again,
we're super excited. Thank you so much.
We'll release, obviously this is released, but we'll release our interview. Don't miss that. We're releasing it on Twitter, Facebook, all our platforms on Thursday, and then next week we're back to it. So you guys take care. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And we hope you have a great day and you enjoyed Amy Trask and Colette. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.